right, Coach, we are live. How's everybody doing? All right, we're live online, the Beyond Big Influence show with Jesse Dobeck. I have a special guest here today. He needs no introduction. I could tell you all the things that he's done. It's going to take me like 45 minutes just to tell you all that. He has a movie about him that's it's grossed over $1 billion in sales. Need say no more. We got Coach Carter here today.
You got the real Coach Carter, not Samuel Jackson, but the real Coach Carter. Yeah. Now, Samuel Jackson is taller, but I can still outrun it. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm sure, and you probably can today, guys. And that's the thing, like Coach can still play ball. I'm assuming like 5 years ago when I met him, I mean, he was shooting the lights out. I mean, we met at Baylor University and I was bricking every shot. Like I couldn't, my shot was off. This guy was like hitting everything like Steph Curry out there. But I will say this, he had me shooting like 500 shots a day. And I started getting my stroke a little bit better, towards the end. So Coach is an amazing guy. He's built a brand for himself that's absolutely amazing. That's what we're going to talk about today. If you're out there, make sure you share this live out to your people. And, we're going to be promoting this out with our email list and pushing it out there. And this is going to be really amazing. Okay, we're going to dive in.
People don't understand what you do a lot of, you do well. And what you do well, you do a lot of it.
Yeah.
There's no shortcuts. There's no elevator. There's no escalator. You just have to put in the time and the work.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people don't understand when they talk about building a good brand. It takes some time.
Yeah.
And it takes making good decisions and then making another good decision and another good decision. And they start to compound on each other. That's when you start having that major success.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And Coach, you put in the work. We're going to talk about the time you spent before the movie, what it took to get it, how you became an entrepreneur, how you had that mindset, how you instilled that in your players, and that's what made them successful. I mean, the one thing that stuck out to me when I met you and we went over to your junior high school and we went to Baylor and we were playing ball together and you showed me all your movies and we were there with one of my best friends from growing up.
Right.
And we were sharing a lot of stories and things. And the one thing that you shared with me was your players, they had to play chess every single day.
Yes.
Like before practice. And that was like before they could even play. Like I think the first week or 2 weeks, or you can tell it better. They had to play chess, not basketball.
Right.
That's interesting because I've never heard a coach or anybody say anything remotely like that. They're like, oh, you gotta get in the gym and dribble like Steph Curry for like hours and hours and hours, like not get your mind right, know?
See, this is the thing. If you train the mind, the body will follow. Mm-hmm. And what I'm trying to do in any situation, I wanted my players to stay calm.
Yeah. Okay.
Period. And so as chess, you stay calm because you're working on your strategy. You're working on the third, fourth, fifth move beyond the move that you're making right now. Yeah. And so they got to see themselves in a successful situation. And people have to understand other people matter. You have to treat people well and treat people like they're the MVP, not the most valuable player, the most valuable person when you're talking about building a brand. And that works in all of our lives. And see, the people who are the most successful in our generation or in our circles are the people who have access to the very best information and the best people.
Absolutely.
People makes all the difference in the world. When the people always talk about your connections, well, those bridges, you have to keep those flames burning. You have to pick up the phone and make that call.
Absolutely.
To your mastermind group and things of that nature and to people you have met. Because guess what? They have their lives and they're moving on. Have you ever, Jesse, ever received a call just at the right time?
Yeah, all the time. When you're thinking about it, it's like the law of attraction's working or something, like you're thinking about it, your thoughts turn into reality.
Yep.
Something like that.
And a
Yeah.
great text. It'd be some days you text me, I'll be right in the middle of something and I'm going like, wow, man, this is, but when I sit there and you see your text, I start smiling because the times we've ever spent together have been just joyful times.
Yeah.
Talking about fishing, playing basketball, talking about business, talking about building $1 billion brand. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
is absolutely
Exciting
emotional.
things.
Yeah, exciting things.
Yeah. And you know, I have a list of questions here. We're going to be going here for a minute, and I think the listeners, and make sure you share this out to people that you know, because I know things about Coach that not a lot of people probably know, because I talk to him pretty regularly. I mean, he's really busy, and he's out there building his brand. He's got agents. He's moving around. He's moving and shaking. So, you know, but I know a lot of things, and I'm going to ask some questions and get into some things that are maybe a little personal, maybe a little, you know, just dear to Coach and what he's working on. And I think you guys are going to get an amazing treat here today of information that you've never got from somebody at his level, you know, because there's a lot of people. And the cool thing about Coach is he's just so down to earth and he's so humble that you wouldn't know who, you know, he just got off stage yesterday in front of 2,500 people. Like, I talked to him a few days ago. He was getting off another stage of over 2,000 people. You know, I mean, he gets paid money to speak on stages. He travels around. He's involved with so many projects. He's launching podcasts and doing things. And he's just an amazing guy. And one thing that stuck out too, Coach, when I was at your junior high school, and, you know, those, like, I remember a lot of this stuff, like the moments that we shared there.
Yes.
And you told me that you were a teacher before you were a coach, and that you taught them entrepreneurship in the class, and all the players had to be in that class.
Yes.
Right. So that kind of goes hand in hand with the chess. I think we were in the same room, and you told me that, and then you told me the thing about the chess. So I feel like that was a significant moment. So what is important about being an entrepreneur, or the entrepreneur mindset that carries over to being a player in any sport, anywhere, anytime?
It carries over in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is the thing.
Yeah.
How do a person get better? Be around better people, get better information. And so when I was a teacher, I didn't consider myself a coach. I didn't coach kids basketball. I taught kids about life. Basketball was just one of the elements that we use in this process, in this thing called life. It was two reasons I did that, Jesse. One of them is that I really loved all the kids. And the second one was a very selfish reason. I really want to get my Social Security check. So if we don't produce a good product, I won't be getting my Social Security check. And so, but the greatest thing about this, when you have an opportunity to teach some young people things that they know nothing about, a different perspective. And I always tell people they have to reset their preset. Yeah. It's kind of like when you rent a car. The other day I rented a car. You know, believe it or not, I like a little country and western music. So therefore, I get in the car, turn on the radio, Snoop Doggy Dogg was on. You know, with the Chronic album. Now, I like that too. And Snoop is from the same hotel. But I was in a part of the country where I wanted to listen to some country and western music. So what did I do? I reset my preset. And so that's when you have options in life. That's what makes all the difference in young people's lives. And think about it. Kids are 1/3 of our population, but they're 100% of our future. And so we have to take care of our future. So you have to put the time in. And remember now, what you do well, you do a lot of. What you do a lot of, you do well. It's
absolutely
just that simple.
Yeah, that really is it, man. You know, being a people person, being about the people, loving the people around you. One thing that, you know, you told me when we were playing basketball, after we were done, I think we were taking off our shoes, we were talking some business, and you said, believe it or not, 90, I can't remember the percentage. It might have been 90%, 99. It might have been 100% of the movie was actually accurate. You were saying, like, okay, so like, and then you did say something else, but I don't know if I can say it. But
what I told you at that time was the movie is 98.5 correct. The only thing we changed was some families' names because we didn't want to embarrass anybody.
Yeah.
And some of the teams we played, we actually beat by 50 points. I didn't want to embarrass them. We only played one way, and we had our foot on the gas all the time. Let's go. We was on the gas all the time.
Yeah.
And so that's the way we played, but I didn't want to embarrass anybody. And so those was the only
there was one more thing, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or whatever, but I guess we're on the Beyond Big show, so we're going to go big and
go for it.
And if you could say whatever you're going to say. The opening scene, to me, the opening scene of the movie is, when the Timo Cruz character walks in the gym, or I guess he was saying, I don't do contracts, or he was going to quit the team, and then he tried to swing on you, right? He tried to throw a punch.
Right.
And I think you told me, but I could be wrong. Maybe I was watching a Gilbert Arenas replay or something. But you said something like, no, actually, they took out the guns, that like the players had guns or something. Am I making that up?
No. They didn't have guns, but when he swung on me, the fight didn't last long because I defended myself really well. If you can see my knuckles, are been in a few fights. And and look at the size of my hands.
Yeah.
You feel me? So,
bigger than your head. Yeah, I got pretty big hands too.
Yeah. So this is the thing. So once he made the comments, I love the kid. He's one of my all-time most favorite players. But I had to defend myself. And most teachers wouldn't defend themselves, but I did. I did.
So you hit him?
Yes, I did push him up against the wall, and then I had him in a compromising position so he couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And he kept telling me, it's not over. He didn't want to see me. He didn't want to see me. I know he didn't want to see me. And guess what? He showed up the next day asking what I got to do to be on the team.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like in the movie. And then he did he do every single push-up, every single suicide, as many as that? Because that was even trying to do 500 push-ups in one day.
I was trying to make him quit. Listen, I was trying to make him quit because I was trying to send a message to the other guys.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to be sitting in the stands just like he is. But guess what? Oh, boy, was he tough. Yeah. Oh, my God, was he tough. And he just kept coming. And listen, as a coach, yes, I do have favorite players. So all the parents who's listening to me and grandparents and students, yes, coaches do have favorite players, just like you have favorite people. And do they treat all kids the same? No.
Yeah.
The tougher you are, the more push-ups you're going to get from me.
Yeah.
The more suicides you're going to get from me.
Yeah.
It takes that type of toughness. And Cruz was such a great thinker now. Remember playing chess?
Yeah.
My contract that they signed, that he eventually signed to get on the team to play.
Yeah.
He had 1,000 push-ups because I just kick him out of the gym every other day.
Yeah.
It was always something.
How long would it take somebody like him to do 1,000 push-ups?
About 3 days.
About 3 days.
Yeah.
And he's
sometimes less.
So how, because I was thinking about that. I'm like, okay, I do like 65 push-ups, right? And then I go back and then I do like 30. And then I go back and now I got to wait a little longer. And then I do like 20, So like, how long do they wait in between? So then they can do like 60 again versus
it's
like
a marathon.
10.
No, you only do like 15 at a time, 15 to 20 at a time.
And then you're like, are you just sitting there just waiting? Are you like sitting on the ground? Because then he got up and started running.
Yeah.
Are they like
it's a combination. See what
it's like you got to have a mind thing going to get it done quick, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to know when to rest, know when to go.
So with me, it was not just push-ups. You always got suicides to go along with the push-ups.
Yeah. So then you can rest your upper body while you're doing your lower body.
Yes,
work,
while you're
right?
running. So that was that was a method to my madness.
Yeah.
And see, I let you condition with the ball. See, because no matter who you are, when you get tired in this thing called life or in sports, you become a coward.
Yeah.
Some people, they go like, oh, my day is just, I'm so stressed out. You got to stay calm all the time.
Yeah.
In the movie and in life, I've never received a technical in all my years of coaching.
Oh,
In
wow.
40 years of coaching, I've never received, and they go like, Coach, you don't look that old. Yes, I'm 63 years old. I've never, ever received a technical. I asked for a technical.
What
And I
about as a
received zero.
player?
Not as a player.
Wow.
Just because, listen, now, I used to make comments to the referee. I said, how did you see that? And they're thinking I'm giving them a compliment. But in reality, I'm saying, you just made one of the worst calls ever. But you can't go out to people and say, you just made a major mistake. And and they're going to give you a break somewhere down the line. No, you just bring it to their attention, give them some ammunition to go with. And because I used to tell the referees, you're blowing your whistle 10 times and 8 of them been against us. Now, I don't know if that fact is true or not, but he didn't know either. But the next time down the court, when he blew the whistle, we always got a call.
Yeah.
And I could always manage that all the time. So, you can't criticize people and then think they're going to do something in your favor. No. And the old saying, you're going to catch more flies with honey than you're going to do with anything else, salt or whatever, vinegar.
Yeah. So, my question for you about, beyond big influence and tying it into that, now do you coach coaches on how to coach and stay calm in the moment? Hands down. And do you have how do you go about getting those deals? Like, how do you get in touch with the coach or, Coach K is on your radar? Like, how do you get these people on the line?
Believe it or not, if you go to my website, my home number is on my website. Yeah. People call me at home and I answer the phone and they go, I didn't expect you to answer the phone. I'm going like, why did you call? And so just reputation. I'm really a good X and O person when it comes to drawing out of bound plays and things of that nature. And I've been around a lot of college practices and things at Baylor. I was at Baylor for, like 6 years in a row, almost every other day, playing against and with their athletes. And, you travel to Kansas and the same thing, you get a chance to talk to their coaches. And so, I talk to a lot of coaches, high school, college, junior high school coaches, CYO coaches, prep coaches, and, and all the traveling team coaches. So if they see me around, they always come over and say, Coach, you're going to be here. Look at my team. What can I do better? And the one thing I always tell people is you got to be in the very best condition you can be in. That's simple as that. 100%. And that's in life too. You got to be put yourself around people who like you. If a person is around you and you don't enjoy them, get them out of your life because they're not valuable to you. Honestly, they're going to 100%. They're going to let you down somewhere down the line when it's crucial. Yeah, so exactly. You need to be depending on them. Yeah, one thing I've noticed, in my career, and I know people get stuck in this trap, and I've done it, and I've, it's costed me a lot of money and time and energy and everything you're saying, is you get around people that the energy's not there. They're not giving 100%. They're not showing up for you. They're late to everything. They're just cocky and arrogant. They treat you like you're below them. Yes. But you think they got value, and they're still engaging with you, and they're still providing value, but they're giving you just enough to keep you there. But they're not, there's red flags, and you just ignore them. And then you sign away something, and then you regret it down the line. So you just stay clear of that. You just get those bad vibes, and you just move on, and everything's all good. Right. Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's a great lesson there. So, all right. So I got some questions here. We kind of just been going off the cuff a little, just talking to Coach, just based off my interaction with him. And just so you guys know, I've known him for 5 years now, Coach, something like that. 6 years. Okay. This guy, man, he's paying attention. And Baylor won the championship. I met him at Baylor. Didn't I tell you the year they was going to win it? Did you? Yes, told you. And then I told you last year Kansas was going to win it. Yeah, you told me last year, and I told you, and I said the Warriors and the Celtics were going to be in the championship, and they were. And I said, I don't know, Steph Curry, he's looking like they're going to take that, because I was seeing him everywhere. It was all about Steph Curry. Everything was lining up. So
I don't know. Yeah. I think me and you got a good sense of winners and what it's going to take to win. And you got a ring, right, Coach?
Yes, sir. You see the ring here. So I have 4 of these, just like with the Warriors rings. And so when you're associated with winners, guess what? Winners do one thing, Jesse, they win.
They win.
They don't complain. They don't sit there and talk about what could have been and everything else. And believe it or not, they have won the championship. The guys are back in the gym already preparing for the next season. See, that's when you're talking about dedication. When you're talking about building that $1 billion brand, it takes some effort. It takes some planning.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be around people who know what they're doing.
Yeah.
See, you can have all the want to you want. you can have all the want to you want. You got to have some how to.
Yeah,
that's what
100%.
Yeah, and that's how the coach is. That's why the coach is great as Michael Jordan was. He had a coach.
Mm-hmm.
He had somebody in their life. They had a coach. And all the people who are listening to this podcast today, you have to remember one thing. I'm a kid from Macomb, Mississippi, family of 7 sisters. Statistically, I shouldn't be sitting here talking to anybody, but I am. And that's just because of grit and people believing in me. And when I didn't even know I even had a future. And guess what? I'm not going to let those people down. And guess what? That's when I had no ammunition in my arsenal. A little kid from Macomb, Mississippi with no ammunition in his arsenal. Now I actually have some ammunition, have a great movie, great brand, ran with the Olympic torch. Going to do Coach Carter 2. Yes, Coach Carter 2.
Okay, we're going way up there. So when's Coach Carter 2 coming out? You have a date?
We're trying to get this set so it'd be on the anniversary of the 25th year anniversary from the first movie. First movie came out
anniversary.
And,
okay.
The 20th anniversary, because the first movie came out in 2005.
Oh, okay.
So 2025 will be 20 years.
Yeah. So 20 years or 25 years?
20 years.
Oh, okay.
Because it came out in 2005. So now 2025 will be 20 years.
Okay.
And you won't believe the progress that these kids have made over these 20 years. Are they still playing chess? Yes. Are they still disciplined and doing their push-ups and their suicides mentally, emotionally, and spiritual? Yes. Because that's what we want to keep them healthy, Jesse. Keep them healthy mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and financially.
Absolutely. So, I got a lot of things here. We could jump into some stuff. So what kind of brings me to the next topic in my head. So you got this movie, right? And we're talking about building $1 billion brand.
Yes, sir.
So what did it take for you to get that movie deal? Like, was it the lockout? Like, did you have to network like crazy? Like, how did you take the story of like the lockout and the team and go sell that or get that in front of the right people for somebody to come forward and say, I want to make a movie about this, and not I want to, like we are, and we're going to put like millions of dollars and we're going to get like Channing Tatum and we're going to get, and that was like his first movie before he was a star, but then we're going to get Samuel L. Jackson, who is like the massive star. And then all these supporting actors who are absolutely amazing in that movie and put it all together. Like, how did the deal come about for you? Like, how did the story get sold? Like, what happened?
Believe it or not, I met Robert Rashad, who played my son Damien in the movie.
Yeah.
Playing basketball in the backyard of one of the producers. And I said, you're going to be my son in the movie. And he went like, yeah, right. So that
was the first domino. You're playing basketball with this kid, and and he's like connected in Hollywood or the producers, and you're like, you need to make a movie about this. And then he's like who came up with that idea? Like, we're gonna make a movie. Like, you told him your story. That, like, how did he know you?
We
or
were
whatever?
all in the same. It's just funny how the universe bring all the people to you in the right place at the right time. Mm-hmm. See, a lot of people think you have to be the right person. I mean, you have to be in the right place at the right time to have success. It's one more element that you need to add. You have to be the right person in the right place at the right time. And so we had a fantastic story. I mean, we was on 60 Minutes. We was on, to the Today Show. And like Katie Couric. Now, if I wouldn't have been on her show, I'd have lost my job as a coach and as a teacher.
Oh,
but I was
wow.
on Good Morning America, so the school district couldn't fire me.
Yeah.
It's too much publicity. So all the chips actually lined up. And so the way this happened, the gentleman who's actually running Paramount Pictures now actually called me. Brian called me and said, young man, we want to make a movie about you. And I hung up the phone on him.
Yeah.
And then he called back, right?
Yeah. When you do that, you actually get the deal. You get more money. Like that's a secret.
No. I hung up the phone.
I've done that before too. Yeah.
No,
Then you
because I
hung up
thought it was
again.
one of my friends playing with me, Jesse.
Yeah.
I thought it was one of my friends playing with me.
Yeah.
And luckily, I was in the front of my store where I had call ID, and I seen the 323 number, LA. I said, this must be for real. And I picked up the phone, and he said, young man, if you hang up the phone again, I'm not calling you back. And we start to talk, and it ended up being one of the, it's like folklore, and in the sports movie industry, it's this movie made over $1 billion. Just think the video rentals and how it launched other people's careers to get Emmys and Oscars, and if me and Samuel Jackson, I call him Mr. Samuel Jackson, are walking somewhere and they go, Coach Carter, we both turn around. Yeah. He's still in character 20 years later.
Yeah, he's crazy, man.
Yeah, he's still in character. But and 4 months of shooting the movie Coach Carter, Samuel Jackson never stumbled on one single lie.
Yeah, that's one thing you told me, man. That guy's a pro.
Hey, I know he's beyond a pro. Listen, and all the younger actors, and when you talk about Robert Rashad, Ashanti was her very first time.
Yeah, acting. She was in there too.
Yep.
She's a star. She's a big time star.
Rob Brown, all of these people. And you're talking about the other gentleman. Who do you say was his very first movie? What was that guy named?
Yeah, Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum. That guy.
Yeah. And then he blew up after that. Now.
Yeah. And so, all of those guys have just took their opportunity and made a great career. And I am so proud that, you can pick up the phone and actually call some of them. They return your call and they go like, Coach. And if they all say the same thing, we need Coach Carter too. Let's I said, listen, what does Hollywood tell you? Hurry up and wait. All right. And then they go rush. So this is the process. Jesse, Coach Carter 2 is going to be so great because what the kids have accomplished in their lives, and the boys are all great fathers. Yeah. Now, the 45 kids, only 7 of them had dads in the home. All the boys that had played for me, all of them went to college. And guess what? All of them are terrific dads. And all of them had girls. Yeah. And their girls are more talented than their dads.
I bet.
And they're playing Division I basketball from USC to Washington State, Utah, all over the globe. These girls are playing ball, and it's just great to travel every basketball season to see them play. It's just amazing.
Yeah. So one thing that comes to mind, I mean, you're an amazing coach. You're an amazing person. You're just all around amazing.
Yes, I'm going to have to start paying you. Good job, young man.
Yeah. So here's the thing. This is what I've been thinking about when you're saying all this stuff. When I spent time with you, I transcended my shooting in 20 minutes, right? And we got better, and you showed me a couple things, and if I would have kept shooting with you, who knows how good my shot would have been, right? And I've had my shot automatic before. When I was 19, I was working out with this coach, and he coached Grant Hill, and I was shooting 1,000 shots a day. I was doing killer crossovers what's his name? The guy that I forget, drawing a blank on his name, but
Tim Hardaway.
Yeah. So I was doing killer crossovers because the change of direction and you're going full speed, really get your handle really good. So I was doing that with him. And that was making my shot better. Yeah. So I was faster than everybody on the team because I was running every single day with this guy because I was doing the killer crossovers for 30 minutes a day, and you're running and I was doing it at full speed. And then when I was shooting, I had to touch half court and go shoot. So every time I shot, I was tired, so it wasn't I'm just stationary, because in a game, you're never stationary, right?
Right.
So I got really good. But anyway, when I was working out with you, I got better really fast and in a short period of time. And I feel like not just like the people, the players that you coached got better pretty fast, you know, because they were like horrible the year before. And then they're like playing against St. Francis, almost winning whatever, playing for the state championship, all that. And, you know, the lockout was in the middle of that, so they had to forfeit all these games. I mean, you guys did an amazing thing. But here's the thing. All the actors and, you know, Channing Tatum, like, if he wasn't in that movie and, like, around you and around that group of people and in that environment, would his career have taken off, right? Would some of those people that you're talking about, and you just said the daughters of these men were like better than them, right? And that stems from you, because they probably would have been dead or in jail, right?
Yes.
Like the movie. So their kids probably wouldn't even have been there. If they definitely wouldn't have been great, you know, maybe they would, some of it, I don't know. But I will say, you know, and just a lot of the things that you've told me when I'm working out, and you've told me, you know, fatigue makes a coward out of all of us.
Yes.
I've always done an extra, you know, 10 push-ups than I was going to do if I didn't have that voice in my head, the Coach Carter voice telling me that. So I will say, you know, that's amazing, man. Just what you've done and your legacy and what you're doing is not even, it's not close to done what you're capable of. And you're just getting started. I mean, do you feel like you're just getting started, or you feel like
Jesse, I actually have some ammunition, you know, in my arsenal now. You know what I mean? And I have a track record.
Yeah.
And so when you mention Coach Carter, no matter where you are in the world, they're gonna know, hey, this guy's tough. He means what he says, and he says what he does. You know, a lot of people, Jesse, practice what they preach, right?
Yeah.
I preach what I practice.
Yeah. Yeah. You got, that's.
So I live by my philosophies and you know, and these are the things. And see, the main thing, it's kind of like good health. You know, illness is always on the parameter of your health plan. Yeah. And it's always fighting to get in. But see, when you're healthy, you think of hundreds of things to do and say and what you can be a part of. But when you're unhealthy, you only think about one thing, and that's getting healthy. So we have to take care of our temple, our body, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And then we 100%. Can go forth. You understand? Because see, if your personal life is messed up, you can't have a great business life. And if your business life is messed up, you can't have a great personal life. It's got to be some balance. And so how do we balance those things? We do it with a plan, some organization, and being around better people. Better people make you better.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's safe to say you've been around some amazing people in your journey before the movie.
Yes.
Like before that time period of, you know, the lockout and building that team and then launching the movie. And then, you know, you told me one other thing you told me was LeBron James's kids, they love Coach Carter, right? And so like all these professional athletes, all these like celebrities, all these people that, you know, we worship in the world, their family members and their kids.
Well, they grew up on Coach Carter.
They look up to you, right?
Yeah, they grew up on Coach Carter. That was LeBron the standard for the movie. Yeah, that was the standard for the movie.
Yeah.
You understand? And look at, I call him Mr. James, LeBron James. Look at how he raised his family, raising his family. And when he didn't have none of that in his life was a little difficult. But guess what? He became I think he's the greatest basketball player ever.
Do you think he's going to play with his son?
I hope so.
Do you think he's going to play long enough? Because I think that's kind of the plan, right? Because his son's maybe, 2 years away?
10 more years. I hope he plays 10 more years. I hope they be saying LeBron is in his 30th year of playing.
Yeah. I think he will. Just scale back his minutes a little. You know, it's just, he's LeBron. And I think he really wants to play with his son.
Can you imagine how great he'll be in the locker room?
Yeah. Yeah.
You
He could be
know,
a player
yeah.
coach. He can play like a couple minutes a game. He could even sit on the bench. Just he can coach his son from the bench. I feel like,
You saying one son? I think he's got two sons. I
yeah.
think he may play with both of his sons because listen, he's going to break Kareem's record this year,
Hmm.
and then he's going to set it out there so far. People will go and say, you know what, this probably would never be broken ever again. But somewhere down the line, it may be another 75 years. Some kid is going to come along, and all records are meant to be broke.
Yeah,
And so
absolutely.
that's the greatest thing. And mention of records being broke, my grandson, hopefully, he hasn't decided what school he's going to, but if he decides to go to Richmond High School,
Hmm.
he'll be in pursuit of my records and his dad's records.
Yeah.
And that third generation. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah. So is your grandson, is that whole, because you said you were going to coach him or whatever before. So is that something that might not happen now, or
Well,
is that what you're saying?
We'll see because, you know, people's lives are different. You know what I mean? And he have different
Yeah.
interests. Back in the day,
Yeah.
basketball was 90% of my life, right?
Yeah.
Well, he's more gifted than I was. He's bigger and the whole nine and a half. But guess what? Basketball is like 20% of his life.
Oh, okay. What else is he into?
You know, he wants to be an engineer.
Okay.
You know, he's into, you know, all the crypto money and just,
Yeah.
you know, he's in the ninth grade, but he have access to so much stuff. And he's interested in so many things. He's interested in cars. You know, I had no interest in cars.
Yeah.
But he could look at a car and tell you what year it is, what size engine in it, and he like making beats for music. Now, I played music in high school.
Yeah.
I was in the symphonic band, the jazz band, and the concert band, but nothing like what they do now. And so now he's into making his own little beats and songs and, you know, on the keyboard, you know. So I'm looking at,
gosh.
so his life, when you talk about a full spectrum life, kids today live that full spectrum. And I don't 100%. Know if that's going to change, and change is good, because I'm just telling you, it's just amazing. Like back in the day, when Dr. J played and people like that, and Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, those players hated each other. They wouldn't even go to dinner with each other. Now look at LeBron James.
Yeah.
They're
all hanging out. Yeah, he's hanging out with all the other players on the other team. They probably, when they're in the NBA Finals, Game 7, they probably go out to dinner with the other team members.
Right. But he's showing them how to become billionaires. Listen.
Yeah, exactly.
He's showing them how to become a billionaire.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't get any better than that. Forget the game. We're going to compete. But after the game, guess what? We can shake hands, and now we can sit down and play chess. Remember talking about my boys playing chess?
Yeah.
Now we can do a business deal and say, let's buy this 20-plex, 60-plex complex, and see, can we rehab it and make it profitable for us? And that's what this thing called life is about, relationships.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
He has shown us all how that works.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So, I mean, what's your relationship with some of these people? Can you speak on, you know, some of these celebrities you've met along the way and your relationship with them, kind of in a nutshell? Like, are you like close to them?
First, Jesse, I always let them speak first. But if you sit there and mention my name to any of the celebrities, they know my reputation, and they all gonna give you a thumbs up. You know, and I don't go out of my way to try to make people like me. You understand?
Yeah. Do you message anybody? Do you like talk to them regularly? Like anything like that?
I like to leave those names alone. But guess what?
Okay. Yeah.
The greatest thing is about it, we have access to almost anybody in the world.
Yeah.
It's pretty 100%. Cool. You know, and guess what? The last 4 presidents, I've taken pictures with the last 4 presidents, been in their presence and spoke with them. You know, can you imagine? Actually 5. Can you imagine? That's just been amazing. I love McComb, Mississippi, talking to the president of the United States.
Yeah.
And getting to take a photograph with, you know, running with the Olympic torch. So
did you ever dream that would be your life when you were growing up, when you were in the heat of the moment and you were coaching those kids? Did you ever imagine what your life would be like?
I did have a plan, though. Honestly, I did have a plan, and I was trying to work my plan. And my
Okay.
plan was trying to be the very best person I could be. And see, I do one thing at a time. I'm not a multitasker. So when
Yeah.
I get one thing, I just do one thing. And people get upset at me, but that's the way I'm successful. I do one thing at a time. But when I get on my task, I am on it,
Yeah.
period. And so now you learn in life how to sit there and say, you know what? Let's take this thing and drive it home. Let me take this thing,
Absolutely.
drive it home. Take this thing and we drive it home. And a lot of people, Jesse, and for anybody listening to me, people have always told you, you know, work on your weaknesses. You know, I'm telling you just the opposite. Don't work on your weaknesses because they're no fun.
Yeah.
When I get bigger, I don't go to the gym and lift weights and everything. I just buy a bigger suit.
Yeah.
I don't have time. Now, do I do my push-ups and do my running? Yes. But when I miss, I ain't getting down on myself and all the other things. If I happen to gain weight, guess what? I just buy a little bigger suit. It's
Yeah.
simple as that. And so people beat themselves up all the time, and they have to realize every single day they should repeat these little 3 affirmations about their lives. And it says, I am loved, I am beautiful, and I am important. If you just say
Absolutely.
those 3 things to yourself every single day, about 4 times a day, it'll keep your spirit so high, and the universe will just keep bringing positive people into your life. But sometimes, believe it or not, it's about 5% of the people on the planet who's going to do something negative to you in your life. But guess what? You chose those people.
Absolutely.
You too much, and
Yeah,
there's no way
100%.
around that. Yeah, there's no way around it. You know, there's no way around it. You need some of those people to help you grow.
Yeah.
And winners do one thing. They don't win every battle. They just make sure they win the war. You feel me? So
Absolutely.
they don't mind losing game 2. Let's
Mm-hmm.
just make sure we get to game 6 and we close you out. And
Yeah,
so
100%.
that is the thing. We're not going to game 7. We don't want to get there because anything can happen. But
Yeah.
Jesse, it is just, you know, when you sit there and you seen all those chess boards in my school, and there was to do one thing: train your mind to be calm in every situation.
Yeah.
Just period. You got to train your mind to be calm in every situation so you can start thinking. Because
Absolutely.
when you're thinking, you can win that.
100%. So a little segue from me, and this is, a lot of my people, they're going to enjoy this part, and we're going to be taking this feed and taking the recording and we're syndicating it out. We're going to make stories out of it, putting it on TikTok. We're going to be putting it all over the place on all of our channels. So this is going to be a really amazing part right here. Now, you landed a deal for Coach Carter 1, right?
Yes.
And they paid you some money, and you told me a sum that you got, and after your friends and family, and you put a little in your junior high school, money came and went in some ways, but now you had a platform, now you have a brand, now you have something that you can go off of, right?
Right.
So what is the plan now from what you learned from that situation, which was kind of like, Facebook had been around for a year, but it was still small. Like MySpace was there. Like social media wasn't really a thing. Twitter was kind of like what people kind of use, but yeah, it wasn't like the main thing. As you move forward in your career now and what you learned from that, what is the plan to maximize your legacy, if you will, your reach, your inspiration to the masses, and your ability to monetize your brand? What does that look like right now? What are you working on right now? And what are you planning to do moving forward to get your platform built even bigger?
And this comes with a philosophy also. When you focus on the good gets better. Mo better makes it mo better. And so now I have some really good people around me, you understand, that have my best interests at heart. I mean, I've been looking out for all the other people, former players, their parents, and everybody else, and now I reach 63 years old. And so my focus have changed. Now I have grandkids. You understand?
Yeah.
So now my focus is totally different. And I'm looking at, well, you know what? I'm 63. I probably got, 40 or 50 more good years left on the planet. So when all the people get to heaven and they hear Coach Carter complaining, I'm saying, like, God, you gave some people 600 years and other people 900 years. You only gave me 120.
Yeah.
So we're looking at just listen, making every day count and just living life to the fullest. And I made me a shirt that says living my best life. And so Coach Carter is living his best life. And so now we're just going to monetize the things that we can do, then that we can control. And see, we're going to add value to people's day.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
that's what we want. We want to add value to people's day. And some education, Jesse, believe it or not, you have to pay for. Certain information you have to pay for.
100%. Yeah, if you're not willing to invest in yourself, then you're not going to grow.
Yes.
And I've been stuck in that before where, I don't need to pay for this or pay for that. When you do, not only are you going to get information, but you're actually going to put it to use because you invested. You got.
Jesse, I'm going to ask you a question. Who or what makes the great great? Who or what makes the great great?
Who or what makes the great great?
Yes, sir.
I in my, from my standpoint, I think the great have the most desire to be successful. Like they have it within. They're relentless. They stop at anything to do it. They never quit. Because the only way that you cannot move forward is if you quit or you die. Right. And you're always, if you're striving to get better and you have a desire to learn, because, I was told, you're white, you can't jump. Right. And then I got doing squats every day and lunges, and I got my glutes and my hamstrings and my lower back and my abs like super strong. And then all of a sudden I was dunking from outside the key with two hands. Like I felt like I was just up there, windmilling and this is the guy that can't even get off the ground 2 inches. It's like, because I never worked those muscles because I didn't actually try. I didn't take jump training. I didn't do plyometrics.
And guess what the brain is? The brain is the most powerful muscle of them all. Yeah. And we do less time training it. When I became a reader, that's when I became successful. When we talking about in Nebraska, when I started to read, that's when things came great. And you're talking about the Coach Carter philosophies, and people always ask me, you seem to be so happy all the time. I said, the two things can prevent you from being really happy. And that's living in the past. Yeah. And you observing everybody else's success.
Yeah. 100%.
And haters are good. All they are is misdirected fans.
Yeah.
And so, when you're talking about, Jesse, I'm doing a little self-branding here now. When you're talking about trying to get to the next level, we have this great book. If you go to CoachCarter.com.
Yeah. I'm going to put the link up there for you guys. So make sure not that.
Yeah. We got a great book for you called Yes, Ma'am, No, Sir.
Okay. You go to CoachCarter.com, guys. Pick up all the Coach's books. Check out his stuff. Follow him on Google. Follow him online. He's got his Instagram. We're going to work on his online stuff. That's my contribution to Coach's legacy. Is I'm going to give all I can to get his brand out there to the world and help him serve and support more people, and just let him just live his best life, because I don't want to stress him out with technical stuff and trying to have to get online. I'm going to try to help him as much as I can. And we were talking backstage about a plan when he goes on stage to start building his lists up, starting to gauge his people. And I'm working with him as much as possible. So if you guys can help support him as much as you can, if you can add value and share his stuff and buy his books and buy his books, so you can give them away as gifts, because his message is really strong. If you watch this whole interview, if you're just tuning in now, make sure you watch it from the beginning, because there's just so much value here about how to be happy, how to be successful, what it takes to be successful, and what it takes to touch people all over the world. So go to CoachCarter.com and hold your book up, Coach.
There we go. And, I think Cruz said it best. Sure. This is the front of the book here.
Yeah, there you
go. And then we got three people on the back that you guys know, Dr. Phil, Samuel Jackson, and myself.
Absolutely. There you go.
Yeah. So this is what I'm saying to you. I think Cruz said it best, and
Sure.
it happened in the movie. And he said, "You playing smalls does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightening about shrinking so others won't feel insecure around us. We're all
Hmm.
meant to shine. And as we let our little light shine, we automatically give others permission to do the same. And as we're liberated from our own fears, our presence automatically liberates others. Everybody who's listening to my voice today, you've been liberated. It's time for
Yeah.
you to, all the books that you say you was going to write, it's time for you to start writing them.
Hmm.
If you said you were going to start walking around the block, today is the day you start walking around the block. And
Yeah.
take the stairs, not the escalator or elevator. And so people have to realize not all of us, are going to get opportunities like have happened in my life. But guess what? You got to do a great job no matter where you are. You just
Yeah.
got to do a great job. And Jesse, when I sit there and look at where my family have come from, I always tell people I got the greatest big brother in the world and the greatest big sister in the world.
Hmm.
And so, from a
Okay.
family of 9, and they're part of my team and my family, I had no choice but to do something because they had poured so much into me. You
Hmm.
know, and I
100%.
tell people all the time, there's a difference between being broke and being poor. Being broke is just an economic condition, but being poor is a disabling frame of mind and the depress of one's condition. Everybody just listening to my voice today, there's no reason for you to be depressed. You're
Hmm.
on top of the planet, on top of the earth, and every day you're here, there's a new day to win. And winners
Yeah.
do one thing, they just simply win.
Yeah. The one thing that sticks out with everything that we've discussed here today, and at some of these questions that I've asked you, and you asked me a question, and my conclusion in my head is that you got to live in the moment.
Yes.
If you're living in the past and you're thinking about your past and man, it was better back then you're going to miss that opportunity to make that decision to lock the team out because you're teaching and that's your job and you're living in that moment that's the right thing to do right then.
Yeah.
That produces that, how they say, pressure bust pipes, it also makes diamonds. That
Yes.
makes the diamond moment happen in your life that just shines so bright that no matter what, they can't turn it off. And now you're crushing it. And a lot of times, and I've done it, you see it in social media and people post things and you're like, man, I wish I had that. And I wish my life was like this. And if I went back and did these things where I didn't mess up, then I would be in that position. And you get stuck in that rut of giving that even energy that you miss that moment of today to go out there and do what you're supposed to do. Right. And I know that's what you're all about. And that's what your message has been this whole time. And I really look up to that because there's so many things that you've been a part of in and around this whole situation, but yet you're like, it happened the way it's supposed to happen. Right. Because I'm present and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Right. And think about it. Some great philosophy said, what is the value of a man who gains the world but loses himself? You know what I mean? I think when your family is in good health in your personal life, you're in good health and you're happy where you are. And a lot of people say, oh, coach, money don't make people happy. I said, yeah, but it can sure rent it for a while. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so it just takes those things for us to live. And so when you're talking about creating value, I'm not talking about creating value just in earning money per se.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're trading your time for something. So you be careful where you trade your time, because once you spend time, you can never, ever get it back because it's gone forever. We're going to make more money. And when I say make, everybody take that out of your vocabulary. None of us will ever make any money. We will earn money. The only people who make money in the United States work in Washington, D.C. at the U.S. Mint. Those are the only people who make money. All the rest of us have to earn money, and the way we're going to earn money is with the ability to think. That muscle that you're talking about, you worked on, that muscle 6 inches away from this ear to this ear, It's about 6 inches away.
Mm-hmm.
If we continue to work that muscle,
Mm-hmm.
guess what? Great things are going to happen to us. And we got to stay consistent.
Yeah.
See, that's the great thing. Consistency is what changes your life.
Yeah, consistency. Yeah. So we're talking about beyond big influence here, everybody. If you're just tuning in, make sure that you watch this from the beginning when this thing becomes a replay. And it's honestly, I've learned so much from this time with you, and that's why I love having you on the show, Coach. And every time I'm around you, I learn something. I'm going to take what you've given today, not only to me, but to all the people listening.
Yes, sir.
And go and apply it to my life and create more happiness, create more success, create more abundance, create more joy, create more impact, create more money, create more everything. Because everything you've said, you've lived, and people can learn from that. And you've built this $1 billion brand, and you're just getting warmed up. I mean, there's just so much more for you to do in this life. And I feel like you're living the dream. And it's been that way for how long since the movie came out? 2005?
Way before the movie. Listen, I've been living my dream way before the movie.
When do you say, like, you were living your dream since birth, or like 5 years old?
No.
Like, when do you think when did your life change?
I know the date that my life changed.
What's the
March
date?
19th, 1972.
March 19th, 1972. Okay, what happened on that day then?
My family moved from Macomb, Mississippi to Richmond, California.
Okay.
And I used to dream, I used to pray every day for 5 years, God, please get me to California. And when I got delivered, now you have to be real specific for the things you asked for, because I said, get me to California. I should have said to Hollywood or something, where, but guess what? I was delivered to one of the most dangerous cities in the country, in the state, in Richmond. Yeah. I attended Richmond High School. But guess what? We took those lemons and made some lemonade. And the whole world know about Richmond, California now. They know about Richmond High School. They know about Coach Carter, because it's a brand just like Coca-Cola, just like Firestone. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just, we have a great, great brand. And so now it's time now to take it and just do a little fine tuning and what it's going to do the next 30 or 40 years, what it's going to produce and what it's going to make. I'm really excited because I have the right seed, and we're going to put it in some fertile soil, and that's what's going to make the difference. And guess what? See, all apples don't fall off the tree at the same time. Yeah. See, all of them don't ripen at the same time. See, people don't understand. All apples don't fall off the tree at the same time. And so every bird sings its own song. And so you just got to start singing your song. Make sure you're in the right key and make sure it's done well. Yeah. Somebody's going to listen to you. Yeah. 100%. And, there's different cycles of the apple tree too, right? It comes and goes, and, sometimes it produces really good apples and sometimes maybe not as good. So just stick with it. Keep living through your life. You guys, thank you for joining us today. Coach, there's one more thing. You mentioned you're going to get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That's happening. Is that happening? Is that a thing, or is that a rumor? Listen. See, this is it's great rumors. See, I like these great things. Yeah, that is actually going to happen, young man. And stay tuned, because we'll give you the date, and all of you guys will be invited, and we're going to have the biggest party in the history of Hollywood. Yeah, there you go. Isn't that great? Because 100%. What's happened, but people really don't understand. Not all of us, in closing, I like to say this, not all of us can become famous, but each and every one of us can become great. Because greatness is defined by the service that we give to others. We just got to continually give great service. Absolutely. Well, you guys have gotten a real treat today. Coach Carter with us for about an hour. The real Coach Carter. The real Coach Carter. Make sure you follow him. Look up Real Coach Ken Carter online. Google him. Go to coachcarter.com. I'll put the link up there one last time for you guys in closing. And make sure you go there, grab his book. Coach, put your book up there again. Yes, ma'am. No, sir. He also, one other thing that Coach used to do is he had his team read Think and Grow Rich, right? Yes. They had to read that book before they could even step on the court. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So he's a
One of the
big
greatest
reader.
books ever written. Honestly, that book changed my life. I got introduced to that book as a junior in high school, and just changed my life. Just totally, just the way I thought about things, and resetting my goals, resetting my preset, writing those down. You know, if you write things down, they're 10 times more likely to come true in your life.
100%.
All you gotta do is write it down. And so I start to read. And you know, most CEOs read probably about 50 books a year or more.
Yeah. Wow.
Some of them up to 100, 200 books a year.
Yeah.
And so they're continually working that muscle, getting it in shape. Just like you said, when your glutes got better, your hamstrings got better.
Yeah.
You start to jump higher and float in the air.
I was floating up there. I didn't have to try. I could dunk with two hands with a 30-pound weight vest on when I was at my high boost, you know?
Can you imagine now? Can you imagine, young man, when you start to read and all the possibilities become reality to you, you start to look at things, because when you are in that, what we call it, the zone, or when you're in your bag. See, when you play basketball, you was in your bag when you were jumping and dunking. Yeah. So when you're in your bag and you have something in your arsenal, guess what? You can win.
Yeah. 100%.
And you can win at another level. But 100%. You got to have something in your arsenal. You got to have something in your bag. All the players now call it, "Coach, I'm getting into my bag." So all the people, develop your bag. Listen, and the other thing, get you a theme song.
Yeah.
Batman
song?
had a theme song.
Okay.
Spider-Man has a theme song. Get you a theme song.
Yeah. Michael Jordan did the Sirius song, right?
Yes.
For the Bulls. Sirius.
You know, so that's what I'm telling you. Get you a theme song. And when things are going wrong, play your theme song to get you back in the right frame of mind.
Yeah. 100%.
And then we go to win.
Yeah. Amazing. You guys have gotten some golden nuggets here, some things that you can do right today to change your life. Follow this man, Coach Carter. Go to coachcarter.com. Beyond Big Influence. This guy's just getting warmed up. I'm going to be sure to that. We're going to send this out to as many people. This podcast, you know, you're always welcome on the show, Coach.
Thank you very much, young man.
Yeah. The last time you were on, this time, you know, we're evolving with what we're talking about. And really, really honor you and respect you. And I'm humbled just to be your friend. So I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome. All right, guys, we'll let Coach go. He's got some big things to do for the day. And make sure you go to coachcarter.com, you follow him, and stay tuned with what we got going here on the Beyond Big Influence show with Jesse Dobeck. All right, until next time, take care. Bye, guys.